Hello, dear colleagues. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of your day. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for joining our global online business analysis excellence conference. Um, um, I would like to mention that this session is being recorded, and the recording will be available in a week after the conference. Please post your questions in the agenda page, and our speaker will answer all your questions after his talk today. So I'm glad to introduce our first speaker today. It's Dmytro Lozovytskyi from EPAM. He is based in Lvov, Ukraine. He is a chief business analyst, project coordinator, scrum master, product owner, and has many achievements and more than 20 years experience in business analysis. Also, he has a PhD degree in economic science, and he conducts many webinars. So he's very experienced speaker, and he's going to present a talk about KPIs in business analysis work. So Dima, we are happy to announce your first presentation. Please present yourself, and good luck.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alexandra. So, hello, guys. Hello, all of fans of business analysis. And it's a big pleasure to speak on such a class of event for you guys. I hope that my speech will be useful and will be applicable in your practice. I think that our audience is really experienced and is really wide or broad, whole the world. So thank you so much for such great introduction. Yes, we can start. I think that this topic is really, or I can say highly, extremely important for business analysts. Why? Because everyone needs to know approach how this employee person should estimate his work or and this is really interesting theme because we have a lot of specifics there, and I think that we need to spot our light on such topic a little bit more and a little bit deeper to understand what is the main essence and purpose of and maybe some limitations of the KPIs as a systematic approach to measure BA's role efficiency. This is the first question that we're going to discuss today. The second question is a question related to BA's work main KPIs. Of course, sure. Guys, as usually, you won't leave our conference without some practical approach, some practical tools and useful tips. Of course, we're going to have some conversation a little bit more about business analyst work KPIs correct monitoring approach. And of course, as Alexandra mentioned, we'll have some time for Q&A session as well. So please, you're welcome. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Please ask your questions. If we have a lot of questions, for sure you will receive some writing answer on them after our conference as well. So why I choose this topic? A couple of things before we're going to start. I think that we can start this topic from the famous quote of René Descartes. You know this guy, everyone knows this guy. And I like this thought. I like this thought very much. He told us some time ago that we only manage what we can measure, and this is really true. It's real true, And only in that case we can get some point of review of our efficiency and how we should correct ourselves during this process. It's really deep idea, and I mean all of us, yeah, implemented this idea in our everyday life, not only in work life, just in general in life as well. And if we're thinking about our work questions, yeah, this is the trigger. This is a trigger to correct ourselves, to make ourselves better in our proficiency, uh, on our proficiency level, and on our actually experience level. So as well, and that is why this is a key question: how we should correct ourselves. This is one aspect of this question, and that's at the same time, this quote tell us that we need to communicate with other colleagues, with other guys during our work, and we need to understand. They need to understand what is going wrong or what is going right in our work as well. And this is some kind of basis of our common and efficient cooperation when we are on the same page with our expectations, with our goals, with our targets, when our activity just provides correct value or expected, even more expected value at the project. So that is why I choose this quote as the start slide for us, guys. Please remember this quote, and just on some kind of on your mind background, on your thoughts background, from time to time think about that. Let's start with the first slide. So as usually, we need to understand the object that we are going to work with. I mean, first of all, KPI. What is KPI? Everyone knows that KPI we can describe as this abbreviation. We can describe that as a key performance indicator. Yeah. So, but what does it mean? Key performance indicator for us. It's a quantifiable measure of performance over time for a specific object. Yeah. So as you can see, guys, quantifiable measure of performance. So we need to measure some kind of process of our work with defined indicators. Yep, with defined indicators. So that means for us that every indicator that we want to measure or we want to count should be related with some part of the process or process results at the end. Yep. And this is the main idea how we should understand key performance indicators as a sense of as an object, as a sense of some object. Yeah. So, but on what questions these for what we should create these KPIs? Yeah. And we have two options, two questions. First question is question why. And as I told, we need to track some kind of target achievements. Yep. And this is natural process for us, and that's great if we can understand are we going in right direction or in wrong direction. Yep. In general. Of course, we should not only track the direction, the direction movement. Yep, we need to understand our track. We need to track our progress on that way as well, because we are time bounded. Yeah, we are time limited in general in our activities on our projects. So that is why we need to. That is why KPI as an object, as a managerial object, is always connected with tracking the progress on our way. And the second question, what we need to create this system, we need to use this system. And we have two answers there. The first option is option about to create and provide information for better decision making. Yes, sure, because our decision connected with our actions connected with our results. That is why we need to track our progress. We need to understand this progress, and we need to make some decisions on our way what we should correct to be in preferable point for us. Yeah. So, and one more aspect about the question what for is to form complex estimation of work results. Yep. We are not interested only in some specific results on that way. We just interested in the whole picture. We need to estimate the whole result, the final result. Yep. And that is why we need to have some tracking system, and we need to have some KPIs, key performance indicators that help us to understand where we are. Of course, at the bottom part of this schema, you can see one thought, that one sentence that describe that KPIs creation and that describe KPI creation and measurement process. It means that these questions highlighted on that slide is always related to that process. To that process that consists always from two parts. The first part is KPI creation part, and the second part is measurement of the process, of the tracking of our progress, etc. So let's go forward, and as you can see, the area of or focus on BA's work KPIs. And we have three statements related to that idea. The first one is about the idea that an indicator it doesn't matter right now which one, just in general. An indicator is a simple measure used to capture the measurement in targeted area. So we got from the previous slide what for, and this is the first basis. So targeted area, some specific aspect of some process, of some activities, etc. Also, focus on BA's work KPIs helps us to understand specific role performance. If we make zoom in, zoom out, on our work process, we understand that people doing work, and we need to understand specific role performance. And why? Because the whole project team is a one body with different that consists from different parts, and we can compare this just picture in our head with different roles in project team. So if some role doesn't do it work very well, all other roles should care about that, and this fact will have influence in general on teamwork efficiency, on results, etc. So that is why we need to have some kind of system or some kind of approach to measure specific role performance on the project. Of course, business analyst also included in such roles or key project roles list. And the third option is related with measurement our progress towards achieving our strategic goals. We also using some KPIs to measure such things. As I told previously, we need to have specific measurement of our efficiency on personal level, on processes level, and of course on project level as well. So please remember that, and we have some kind of illustration how we can decompose the level of KPIs understanding in general. Let's go forward. And you can have a question about Dmytro. Please tell us how the process or how the approach of KPIs creation and measurement looks like, yeah, in general, and what are the factors that could have an influence on that process. As you can see, guys, we have an answer on that slide, and in the left part of this slide, we have some kind of pyramid that reflect, or we can say, the levels of KPI forming. And let's start from the basic one. Everyone knows that good project should have a good project should has a project framework, and we use different project frameworks. And project frameworks define the project roles and responsibilities. And this is the first step to understand, this is the first point on the way how we can measure, how we can create specific project KPIs, yeah, for concrete project roles. And defining, so the first step is understand the project framework, or project framework even more, or project framework specific, and define the project role responsibilities. The second step is when we define the project framework. Project framework helps us to understand the project team workflow, how this workflow could looks like, and project team workflow or process, yeah, of work and delivery model, defining the project activities configuration. Definitely yes, because projects are different, and we could have a different specific how we can organize our work on concrete project for concrete client with some specific requirements in our work. So define the project activities configuration. This is also some intermediate step on the way how we can define the concrete or specific KPIs for business analysts. The third step is the next, that we need to, based on previous two steps, we need to define BA's workflow model, or even more, according to BA book, we can say we need to define BA work approach. Yeah. And based on that approach, we need to understand, we need to create specific business analyst workflow model. Why we should do that? Why this step is necessary for us? Because based on previous two things, two objects, to this understanding of previous steps, we will include in that BA's workflow specific BA's activities and their goals. And based on this understanding, finally, we can define the correct BA's work KPIs in general and specifically applicable to this project, to your concrete project. Yep. So this is a final step in the pyramid. What is the way, yeah, or how we can create, how we should create, and how we should define the measurement process of KPIs basis, yeah, for business analyst. So, guys, please use this approach in your practice, and don't forget that step by step you're going to draw the picture, you're going to decompose this picture in details, and this approach allows you to deep dive in project specific, in your concrete BA specific project role understanding. Yeah. So let's go forward. One more interesting thing about business analyst work. Yeah. You know, guys, that everyone that we are going to measure, everything that we are going to measure could have could consist, from two big parts, from quantitative basis and qualitative basis. As you can see on the screen, this is always balance behind these bases, and balance BA's work estimation. This is the central idea to combine the correct KPIs that are related to quantitative basis and qualitative basis, and based on this and based on combination of these KPIs, just create the balanced BA work estimation picture, yeah, or just model approach, whatever. So these things really directly connected with expectations that we have in general from different sides at our projects. First of all, business analyst role is complex role, and business analyst is always communicated with three big groups of project stakeholders. Yeah. First one is our client business representatives, different business representatives. The second one is our managerial staff. I mean, our managerial staff in the company where business analysts work and works. And the third one is our project team or teams. Yeah, the business analyst support during his activities on the project. And that is why we need to understand the clear picture. We need to create even more, guys, please, attention, even more. We need to create the clear picture of expectations from business analyst role. And we need to compare these expectations with our basis that we're going to form before and the first step that was demonstrated on previous slide. Yeah. So we are working with expectations every time, and we have such bright example. For example, yeah, just an example. Let's imagine the situation when business analyst doing a great job on his project, and in general, project was successful. All results were achieved, etc., etc., etc. But at the same time, the pleasure of work with a business analyst in the team is not so high. Yeah. Does this situation will have some influence on the future BA work on this project or in the next project with the same team? Of course, yes. So that is why it's always important to us not only to achieve the results, but to create a good process of collaboration. And to do such thing, we need to measure expectations as well. So that is why this is the whole picture we can say that of understanding how key performance indicator, what is the structure basis of for key performance indicators on our project for specific business analyst role. As you can see, quantitative basis, main questions for that basis are the next: what should be done and when it should be done. Yeah. So this is the main questions for all quantitative KPIs. And for qualitative KPIs, for qualitative basis, we have the main question, how it was done. You can see, guys, how it was done. So please remember this approach and think about that a little more deeply based on your specific current project situations. Yeah. Are you measure expectations, or do you measure expectations of all stakeholders group as a business analyst? How you doing that? How you align this vision, this picture on your work, etc. Let's go forward. Again, expectations, yeah? It's always a clear, it's all this thing that I told before is always connected with clear BA's role understanding on the project. And this is underwater stone, yep. This is a cornerstone, we can say, the success of business analyst at the project. And in the left part, in that balance, we have the first aspect, what I really need to do. you should define based on previous basis, yeah, based on project framework, based on roles or your BA's roles responsibilities, based on your BA approach, based on your BA's activities, understanding, etc. Yeah, this is the first part in the left in the left in the left part of this slide. Yeah, this is the first aspect. The second aspect is what others want and what should be done in their opinion. Yeah, you see, you need to merge the vision on your BA's role understanding. Yeah, so that is why this is extremely important exercise not only for business analyst that set up his activity at new project from the scratch. This is also as exercise for business analysts who came in the project and just replace some other business analysts on the project. Yep. So it's also a very useful and very needed exercise for both cases. Let's go forward. We reviewed the basis, how we should work with KPI, how we should understand KPIs. What is the main basis? How we from what things depends the process of KPI creation? What is the correct approach? How we should do that? How we should decompose this picture in our heads? And what is the key control points for us? So again, the expectations and balance of these expectations. But right now, let's switch our attention a little bit more and deep dive into the topic related to specific KPIs characteristics. Yeah. So as you can see, guys, in theory and in practice, we can see that we have a lot of characteristics of good KPIs. Really, from I saw different variants when I was preparing. When I prepared, when I was preparing my speech for you guys, and in general, I just stopped at these eight top characteristics for you, because we have different variants from 3 characteristics up to 16 characteristics in general, etc., etc. But the most important, in my opinion, are the next. First of all, every KPI should be simple, really. As simple as possible, because if we have some complex KPI, if we use some complex KPI to measure something, to track something, it means that this complex KPI should consist from a lot of parts. And every part you should monitor. You should understand how you're going to measure this, etc. It's a complex process that could take from your side really too much time. So that is why please use simple KPIs. Simple doesn't mean not efficient. Simple means understanding and applicable. Please don't forget about that. Relevant KPI. KPI should be relevant to the process, relevant to the targets, etc. KPI should we should have ability to measure this KPI, preferable for us. Approach that is preferable for us to measure to automate the process of measurement of that KPI. In ideal case, yeah, KPI should be straightforward. Straightforward, it means for us that you can use this KPI directly to different things in your not to different things, to define things in your activities. Yep. And you can use it straightforward. Yep. So that is also some kind of characteristic. Aligned, KPI should be aligned with all stakeholders, groups, representatives. Really, only in that case you can say that you understand what you're going to do, and your stakeholders also like this approach, and they are okay with that approach as well. KPI should be achievable. Yes, sure. Because we can't use not achievable KPIs. Yeah, KPI should tracking on time basis. Really. Yeah, and KPI should be visible. Yeah, KPI should be visible in general on general project level, and KPI should be a part of project. Your KPIs also should be a part of project reporting system, etc., etc. So these 8 characteristics again helps you to filter your KPIs through them and to understand what kind of KPI is real. It could be a real KPI, a real efficient KPI on your project. On your project, yep, and you can use it without any kind of fear. Yeah, so please use this filter, use this list of KPI characteristics as a filter to make sure that you choose right KPIs or applicable, not right, applicable KPIs. Let's go forward. Advantages and disadvantages of KPI system. Of course, as everything in our life has 2 sides. Yeah, everything, absolutely. So as you can see on the screen, I highlighted for you guys the main advantages and disadvantages of KPIs approach. If we're going through the list of advantages, we can see really valuable things for us. First of all, ability to measure outcomes and results, as we told before. Empower employees to make needed actions. That is really, really important thing. Why? Because you have the point of comparison. You have some kind of analysis results. That is why you not only could correct the style of work and the approach that you have in your work, or you also motivated. Yep. You also are motivated person to make something better than you did it before. So this is also a very important advantage. Show gaps in the work process. Yep, of course, sure. Help to make decisions. Yes, we talked about that. Detect patterns over time. Yeah, so that is one more good point or additional point for our understanding. So everyone has some kind of professional patterns in his life. Yeah, we all of us up to after 30, 35 years old, we are the set of patterns. Yeah, in our work. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just a reality. And sometimes not sometimes, always our patterns of behavior, patterns to use some tools, approaches, etc., define our ability to be flexible in our work. And that is why sometimes our usual patterns doesn't work. They don't work, yeah, very well, and we need to change them. So that is why our KPIs could help us to understand, to see this trend, to see this tendency, to understand, are we doing such things great or not? Our usual things, I mean approaches, I mean techniques, I mean skills, I mean habits, etc., etc. So, and the last one is help to set goals and plans. Yes, sure, because only if we compare something, if we compare the current situation with our etalon or ideal case that we want to achieve, we can see this difference. We can understand what will be the next goals, what will be the level of our next goals, etc. So disadvantages are the next. We also have disadvantages. KPIs, accuracy demands time, defined, standardized processes. Yes, absolutely yes. Only in case when you have set up a good processes at your project, you can measure something on permanent basis and you can understand that your results are correct. Yeah. Overlook some part of relationships. Difficult to track all relationships aspects. Yeah, sure, because KPIs, even more if we are going to talk about qualitative KPIs. This KPI, any kind of KPIs can't reflect the relationships very well. Yeah, so some of them maybe can't reflect some aspects of relationships, but in general, this is a gap of KPI system. Accuracy needs the control. Yeah, sure, definitely. Accuracy needs the control, and you need to pay attention to the monitoring, to KPI monitoring process on permanent basis. Yeah, need extra efforts to make and maintain them. Yes, sure, because this is additional activity for business analysts, and we need to be aligned with that. We need to be ready with that. To use that approach, etc. So, based on this slide can help you to understand: do you need to use KPI system, or do you need to implement some kind of simple KPI system on your project, or not? Or you can just leave without them. Let's go forward, and the next slide's related to KPIs creation rules. Yeah, so we have six simple rules. I defined these rules for you guys, and the first one: identify objectives and intended results. Yes, sure, everything starts from that point. The second one is select the right measurements for each objectives. Yes, sure, this is some kind of challenge because you need to understand the process very well. You need to understand the results very well. And you need only in that case, if you understand the process, if you understand the steps, if you understand incomes, outputs from that step, who should do this step, with what results, etc., you can select the right measurements for each objectives and for each KPI. Make KPI as simple as possible. We talked about that. Define the method of KPI measurement and tracking. I mean, how you should automate this process. Make sure that KPIs cover the target need. Yep. And share and align results with the team and stakeholders. Yes, sure. This is the 6 simple steps or 6 simple rules how you should create the efficient KPI. And as I promised before, we can present you guys some kind of simple KPIs that you can use on your project from scratch. Yeah. So quantitative KPIs. First one is about set up and align BA approach with the team and stakeholders. Just simple quantitative KPI. Yes, no, done or not done. Just binary system. You can easily track it. Yep, with your management, project management representatives. I mean, delivery manager, project coordinator, maybe account manager if you need it, if you need him, etc. So created backlog for the plan horizon. Yeah, yes, no, done or not done. We are not talking about right now the quality of backlog, yep, that BA created for the team. But in general, these KPI reflect the ability of business analysts to produce something, yeah, to produce the needed requirements for development process. It's also binary approach, but it's simply to measure, and this also a good KPI. Level of business BA's obligatory artifact coverage created and documented. Yes, no, yeah, because business analyst as a role at the project should produce some kind of artifacts of his activity, and you can use in that case not only binary approach. Yes, no, you can use also the percent of scale. Yeah, so type of BA's docs covered and created. Yeah. So this is also a really important thing because these KPI reflect the fulfillment of your BA business analysis approach that you're going to use on the project, and this KPI helps you to track the progress on that way as well. Because only in the case when you're going to create some artifact, BA's artifact, regarding to your BA's activities, regarding to your BA approach at the project, you can show only this artifact shows the final results of your work. Yeah, so that is why you can measure these percents of scale, and it's also help you to understand where the gap, where I did some things bad or good. Yeah. Set up BA's communication process with stakeholders and the team. Yep. Yes, no. Confirmation by regular meeting schedule. Simple, but also shows your activities. BA's involvement in teamwork planning process on a permanent basis. This is a separate KPI that I recommended to use. Why? Because when business analyst involved in all teamwork planning, in the whole teamwork planning process on different levels, on strategic level, on operational level, yep. In that case, you can expect the good understanding from business analyst, the whole situation at the project. So, just a fact: yes or no? Are you involved in that process? If yes, good. If no, bad. Yeah, and you should highlight that point to your management. So simple quantitative KPIs just reflect the general BA's activities in the project. Yep, general BA's activities in the project. And these help you and your colleagues to understand where you are, yeah, with your specific things. Let's go forward. Qualitative KPIs. So I proposed for your attention 6 of these KPIs. The first one, level of team and stakeholder satisfaction of BA's work. Yeah, sure. So this is a qualitative KPI. Specific feedback, BA performance rate, communication efficiency level, etc. So you need to create the scale. You need to create and propose the scale to your management, to your management. Or managerial representatives, yeah, and the project. And this helps you to understand specific things and quality, how you did these things in general. Existence of escalations on BA from team and stakeholders. Yes, sure. Do we have such kind of facts or not? And this and the specific moment of this KPI usage is the next, that you should understand what kind of escalation related to BA's knowledge or skills, and what part of escalations related to other aspects of BA activities. So yes, no, and quantity of these escalations is also should help us to understand the quality of BA work. Quantity of BA's inputs on solution and processes level. Yes, sure, because you are the role that support the team, so you need to have enough time to think about other stuff on the project, to think out the box, and to provide your solution, your proposals, your solutions, your decisions to the team in a broad manner of understanding of BA's work in general at the project. It's also a good qualitative KPI. BA's teamwork supporting activity. Yep, just a fact. Do we have such kind of activities or not? Number of defects in created requirements. Yes, sure, our standard KPI, just a fact, yes, no, or quantity of defects per period, sprint, requirements, numbers, etc., whatever. And the last one, number of created change requests initiated by BAs. So that is what that KPI also means for us, that you as a business analyst work good. Yeah, because if you find the gaps in requirements, if you initiated some kind of improvements, it's also great. So simple qualitative KPIs for your understanding, guys, and you can use these KPIs also to manage some kind some part of expectations from the side of your still stakeholders in general, from client representatives, from your managerial representatives, and from the development team or teams. And of course, some kind of recommendations from IIBA. As you can see, guys, we don't need to just review all of them because we have a lot of KPIs here. But when you're going to review my presentation, I think that you can Google it, just find some kind of KPIs in the best BA practices and use them. But the main idea of this table is the next, that all KPIs just divided into categories through through the business analyst activities, groups of business analyst activities. Yep, as you can see, communication and planning, requirements management, BA skills, change management, effectiveness. Yep. So please don't forget to review them and to use them. And finally, I can say that we should make some conclusions. Conclusions for whom? First of all, for you guys and for your managers as well. What are the main managers' mistakes? Yeah, what are the main managers' mistakes in the process of business analyst KPI creation process? Yeah, first of all, lack of preparation for BA's onboarding process. It's a huge mistake. Because if you won't provide the correct context of project to business analyst, what kind of expectations you could provide to the business analyst? Yep, in general. So insufficient involvement of key project roles in BA's onboarding process. Yes, sure, it's also important. Lack of structure vision on BA's onboarding process. Yep. So you need to align everything. You need to provide the approach how you should measure your efficiency. Not managers, you guys, you as a business analyst, please make the first step from your side. Don't wait when somebody create some kind of expectations, provide these expectations to you, etc., etc., etc. It's not really so efficient approach. Yeah, it also could be, but the best option to be proactive. Inconsistency is the vision of the BA's onboarding process that takes place between the team management and the client. Yes, we talked about that a lot today. I explained why it's so important. And reluctance to measure BA's real work effectiveness. So hiding it, yeah? So the last one is a special one. Why? Because we need to we shouldn't fear our gaps. We shouldn't fear our mistakes. We should be better than we was yesterday. This is the real approach to become a professional in our area, in any area. Yeah. So don't hide the BA's mistakes. Yep. But don't blame our BAs on the project for their mistakes. But please review them, work together on them, and align your expectations. Yep, again and again and again. So that is all, guys, for today. Thank you so much for your attention. And right now we have some time for Q&A session. Please, you're welcome.
Yes, Dmytro, thank you so much for such useful presentation of such a boring KPI, topic. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have presented it really in an interesting way, and we got quite a lot of questions in the
Thank you so
chat.
much.
Yes, unfortunately, we won't be able to answer all those questions, but we promise we will answer it in writing.
Definitely.
Yeah, within the next 2 days after the conference together with Dmytro.
Sure.
So we're streaming in YouTube and on their community platform, and we're getting the same questions for on the both platforms. So Like Shweta Parmar and Svetlana Shin are asking, what are the tools to measure KPIs? What tools do you use? Do we have any tools to measure KPIs? And what are the most common BA KPIs?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We have a couple of questions in one sentence. Yep, but yeah, let's start from the first one, of course. You guys, we have Jira. Yeah, we have Jira tracking system, and we have some specific settings in Jira. Yeah, I mean not specific to concrete BA role. Yeah, I mean in general, this system is provide us some kind of ability to use that functional to make our life easy when we're going to track something related to business analyst work. Just an example, you can use the labels, yeah, and you can use after the filters to sort, for example, sort it out what kind of progress we have in backlog question, in CR question, in some kind of actually risks analysis, etc., etc. So or solution creation, by the way, as well. So please use it, don't forget about that. In general, what else? It could be any kind of tool, yeah, that you can use on your project. The main option is to specify the settings, specify the functionality of this tool to your concrete KPIs. I think sense and tracking process. Yep. Of course, we can use Excel sheet as usually. It's also work. Why not? It's simple tool. Of course, it can't help us to automate for 100% these activities, but this activity, KPI tracking activity, but in general, it also could be helpful for us. In my practice, we always trying to provide some additional filters, some additional settings in Jira to track our business analyst KPIs or the measurements. Yep. To calculate such KPIs at the end of the sprint or PI or quarter or year, etc. So. And this is my answer to the first part of question. The second part of question is about the simple KPIs. Guys, we reviewed 11 KPIs, quantitative, qualitative KPIs today that I recommended from my practice to you. Please think about them. They won't provide from your side. It doesn't take it don't take from your side too much time to track them. Yeah, and also please be aware about some kind of specific KPIs that came from IIBA practice to us as well. I think that's all. Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dima. And we have another question that it's most voted, so I will announce it first, and then we'll see if we have more time to answer some more questions. So we have a question from Natalia Ivleva, and she is asking: is it possible to create KPIs that may be applied to the whole BA department, considering that
Ooh.
everyone have different project with different processes?
Great question. Thank you so much for that. It's really important and interesting topic, because if we're going to talk about, for example, projects with a lot or with on big accounts, yep, with a lot of development teams, with a lot of streams, with a lot of business analysts, in that case we need to understand that we need to create the governance structure, BA governance structure. This is a separate topic and very extremely useful and important topic. Of course, it's more rare case, I think, for the mid-sized companies, for the small-sized companies, IT companies, but in case of enterprise level IT companies or just large IT companies. Yep, this is pretty regular case, yeah, when we're going to create some kind of governance structure. And this governance structure, BA's governance structure, should care about a couple of things. First thing is business analysis approach. They need to define specific business analysis approach. Applicable to concrete account, to concrete group of projects, etc., etc., etc. So it's really important thing, because based on that, you can provide, you can get the visibility on your workflow, on your BA's standard activities, on your BA's standard artifacts, on your BA's how you can standardize your BA's vision to this approach, etc., etc., etc. So in that case, this is the first aspect. Yeah, the second aspect is how this governance structure should monitor and should understand the process of BA growing at the project. Yeah, professional growing on the project, or development, professional development on the project. So this is separate group of activities, and you can have some separate group of KPIs for such activities. How you should implement your best practices tools to just a technique, yeah, best practices technique usage. How you should implement your lessons learned technique usage. How you should doing a lot of things related to the professional growing, professional development process for business analysts. And the third group of KPIs should be related to the BA motivation aspects. So we have a lot of things there. Really, we have a lot of things there. And you need to monitor the mood of business analysts group at the project, and because you should understand the main question: Are your people really motivated, or they are burnout? So it depends. From that option depends a lot of things. First of all, depends the movement process of specialist at the project. Yeah, so continuation of BA work at the project, average BA work at the project, etc. And you need to focus on such groups of KPIs, and you need to work on concrete or specific KPIs with the BA governance representatives. In practice, always BA governance structure has some kind of core team, and this core team could count or could consist from 5 up to 12 specialists. It's optimal size, really, because a large team, you can use the whole business analyst team in that case, for example, for professional development process. Yeah, but the core team just concentrate attention only on the process of analysis, how to make more efficient business analysts work at your specific project. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have only 1 minute left. So I want to say thank you to Dima for your great presentation, a useful presentation, as I mentioned, and to
Thank you.
all our big audience today. And we are going to answer all your questions, and we'll send you the recording later. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great start of the day, and enjoy. And please stay with us. We have the whole day at BA Excellence today with full of topics. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day and have a great conference.
Have a great day. Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.